views expressed on the following program are those of the host and not necessarily those of staff, management, or ownership.
Phoenix. Brother Mike is back on the radio. Welcome to HardcoreChristianity.com. God bless you today. Thank you for tuning into the program. Today's Bible study, Christian suicide. Believe it or not, it's becoming more prevalent than anybody realizes. Hey, will you call somebody and tell them radio program's on? I'll make some quick announcements while you make that call. This is Brother Mike. I'm the professional counselor at the Arizona Deliverance Center. We're on 15th Avenue, just south of Osborne Road, downtown Phoenix. We have 2 live services every week. It's on our website, hardcorechristianity.com. We have preaching, teaching, healing, and deliverance at both those services. Starts 7 p.m. local time. Both of them are broadcast live on our YouTube streamer. On the website, you can join our Facebook pages, Hardcore Christianity and Blessings. You can sign up for a free seminar. You can send us a donation on PayPal. And you can keep up with my travel schedule in the ministry. Thank you for all your support and thank you for your prayers. We cherish them. Christian suicide. What in the world is going on here? Isaiah chapter 61. The Spirit of the Lord is upon me because the Lord has anointed me to preach good tidings to the meek. He sent me to bind up the brokenhearted. He sent me to proclaim liberty to the captives. He sent me to open the prison to those who are bound. He sent me to comfort all that mourn. He sent me to give unto them beauty for ashes and the oil of joy for mourning. And, listen carefully, the garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness. The spirit of heaviness. This is the demon that is so prevalent in our society here in America. He causes clinical depression. Depression is the number one illness in America, by far outdistancing cancer and heart disease. Not even a close second. Depression is the number one illness. Depression is the number one ingredient in suicides and in Christian suicide. Here's the article. This suicide has shaken everybody to the core. Quote, last month, a successful young pastor, Andrew Stocklein, ended his life at age 30 after suffering from months of depression. Apparently, the poor guy had had a series of medical problems, deaths in the family, and different things. The devil had piled on him really bad. And the spirit of heaviness, a demon of depression, had entered his brain and caused severe depression, leading to his suicide. He killed himself at church. Quote, he left behind a grieving wife, 3 young sons, a baffled congregation in Chino, California. Just days before his suicide, he preached a sermon at Inland Hills Church about the reality of depression among Christians. He used the prophet Elijah's life to illustrate that depression. He goes on to explain that Elisha was suffering from clinical depression and he wanted to die because he was running from Jezebel. And unfortunately, the problem with Stocklein is that he had no one to help him who understood deliverance. And here you see the horrible ramifications of not having deliverance as part of the glorious gospel of Christ. 1/3 of all Jesus' healings in the New Testament, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, were deliverances from demons. Our society is far more demon-possessed than anything Jesus saw when he was in Palestine. There are demons everywhere. Half the TV shows on satellite disc and cable and so on have something to do with demons and vampires, and it's unbelievable the level of demonic possession that's sweeping the United States. It's absolutely scary. The Roman Catholic Church is being hit so bad with demons, and of course, Roman Catholicism and the Vatican are run by demons. There's no question about that. Not every Catholic is demon possessed, obviously, but the Vatican issue is a totally separate subject, and I've done several radio shows on that. I'll not hit on it again today. You got to understand that demons are so prevalent now. The Catholic Church has over 100 exorcists in the United States. They used to have 2 several years ago. 2. Demons are crushing our society, rushing through it with incredible power, because sin is rampant in our society, and people are sinning at record levels, and our young people are being loaded with demons from social media, these handheld devices that they use all day long. And according to some research surveys, 6 to 8 hours a day on these items and on the internet, social media. All these horrible satanic games they play, video games that are, once again, loaded with demons and monsters, vampires, zombies. All of these spirits are taking over the children. And at the Arizona Deliverance Center, there isn't a week go by we don't get people calling saying my son or my daughter has gone crazy. They're 12 years old. They were fine at 11, but now they're 12. They were fine at 12, now they're 13. And I mean, we get these calls all the time. Demons entering the brain through technology, causing defiant disorders all throughout the United States. The spirit of heaviness is the monster that enters the brain and gives the person severe hopelessness. And this poor pastor, not having deliverance in his church available, having no one around him who knew anything about deliverance, had this demon been removed from his brain, this man would be alive today. These spirits cause enormous depression and hopelessness, and they talk the person in to rationally thinking about ending their lives, because the demons sit down and go over the facts with them. Hey, now here's the facts, A, B, C, D. This isn't getting any better. That's not going to improve. The medication's not working. This doesn't work. That doesn't work. And they literally, intellectually, cause the person to sit down and go, hey, wait a minute, suicide is an option. And after this poor pastor killed himself, then, of course, a wave of controversy swept through the church of whether or not you go to hell if you commit suicide. There's all kinds of different theories on that. The Bible doesn't speak to that issue about Christian suicide. I'm not 100% sure what happens after a Christian commits suicide, but I do know one thing. These suicides can be prevented, and in my counseling practice, I have prevented several suicides over the years through deliverance. Once the spirit of heaviness and depression is removed from the person's brain, the person recovers. Hope returns, because hopelessness is the key factor in depression leading to suicide. In addition, the stalking also had panic attacks and chronic anxiety. And his father had recently died of cancer, which also caused him significant depression. They talked him into taking a sabbatical. He did. It didn't work. A sabbatical is not going to get demons out. Prayer is not going to get demons out. And reading the Bible is not going to get demons out. Demons have to be cast out. We'll show you how to do that at the Arizona Deliverance Center. If you feel God's calling you to learn deliverance, we would be happy to help you and train you in that field. Please come on a Thursday night or a Friday night. That would be fantastic. We would love to meet you and help you get your ministry started. I have a ministry called what I call terror cells. And I'm constantly encouraging people to open up a terror cell in their church, particularly if you go to a mega church. A terror cell is defined as 2 or 3 believers who gather together in the name of the Lord. The Holy Ghost is there in the midst, and these 2 or 3 people get trained in deliverance, and they go through the church picking off the sick people. They find the people suffering from depression, physical illnesses, mental illnesses, and they take them aside and lovingly explain to them how this system works and how they can be delivered of these spirits. Once the spirits are out of the body, the person's body recovers. Mark chapter 1, Mark chapter 5, Mark chapter 7, Mark chapter 9, Matthew chapter 9. These chapters show the dynamic, dramatic improvement of these people after the spirits were removed from their bodies. They incredibly got better. They incredibly were cured because it was the spirits that were causing the sickness or the mental illness. I've seen dozens of mentally ill people healed, dozens of people healed physically after the spirits are removed from the body. Now, sometimes things go really bad. In the Bible, the suicides are all bad, as you know. Saul committed suicide. Judas hung himself, and so on. Samson pulled a temple down on himself, and he died. But anyway, if you know someone suffering from clinical depression, and they're a born-again Christian, they're eligible for free counseling services, 602-636-5800. Once this monster, this spirit of heaviness is removed, once he's gone, your loved one will be cured.
The views expressed on this program are those of the host and not necessarily those of staff, management, or ownership. This program was sponsored by Michael W. Smith.